Trevor Story had a big series in Atlanta, and it poses a big question. Is he turning the tide offensively?
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I'm here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And it's completely free, so you might as well tune in because Locked On is your team every single day. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show. It may be the start of a new week, but we're at least starting the week off strong as Red Sox fans because the Red Sox got a solid series win in Atlanta over the weekend, winning the first game of the series 5-1 on Friday night. Then they got shut out 5-0 in game 2 on Saturday, but closed out the series with a 3-1 win on Sunday to hopefully put forth some momentum moving forward. And one of the biggest storylines of that series was Trevor Story. Is he starting to heat up? More on that on today's show, as well as talking about Garrett Crochet and having yet another really solid performance on the mound on Sunday for the Red Sox to help deliver the win, and the plethora of roster moves that the Red Sox made on Sunday and how they're going to impact the team. That's all on today's show. But Trevor Story, we have to talk about because he had been seriously struggling at the plate going into this past weekend series. Over the 33 games between April 19th and the end of this past series, he batted .154 with only 2 extra base hits. But since coming to Atlanta on Friday, he now has 2 extra base hits in his last 3 games, including a bases loaded double that put the Red Sox on the board in the top of the first inning yesterday. And it ended up being the only runs that the Red Sox scored in the game. Story crushed a bases clearing double, and that helped the Red Sox to get some runs on the board early for Crochet to have some breathing room to work with. And it was a really nice swing of the bat, and it was beautiful to see Trevor Story get a good swing off there. He also hit a home run in the first game of the series and just missed one in the second game of the series. So he was definitely hitting the ball really hard for the entirety of the 3 games in Atlanta. And obviously it's promising in regards to it could mean that Story's turning things around. Now, I'm not ready to say for sure that that's the case. I'm not ready to say, oh, Trevor Story is definitely, turning the tide here and he's going to be better offensively the rest of the season, because we just haven't seen a whole lot of consistency from Trevor Story this year. And it could just be that he likes hitting in Atlanta and that just is what it is. And he was in his element there. And that could be the case. Or it could be the fact that this is a new month. It's now June. So the page has been turned from May. And Story maybe feels a sense of a fresh start with a new month and a clear head. And now he's going out there and he's ready to turn things around. So it could really be either one. His double went 413 feet on Sunday, and it scored Rafael Devers, Abraham Toro, and Marcelo Meyer to make it a 3-0 game right out of the gate. Atlanta was notably where he broke out of his previous worst slumps back in 2022. After struggling for the first month and a half of his first season in Boston, the shortstop went 3 for 9 with a home run and 4 RBIs over 2 games. From that series until he suffered a broken wrist after being hit by a pitch just prior to the All-Star break that year, Story hit 15 home runs with 48 RBIs over a 57-game stretch, during which the team went 36-21. The Red Sox 100% would welcome a similar pattern now, and past evidence shows that Atlanta is a place that Trevor Story likes to hit, and it's a ballpark where he really gains confidence back. So I'm hoping that that continues to trend upward for him, and he says, okay, now I'm in a better headspace. It's a new month. I'm going to go and I'm going to crush it for the rest of the season. Even though the fact that Trevor Story got some really hard hit balls off in this series is promising. There's also a lot of uncertainty with that because of the fact that he has been really sluggish at the plate. He's taken some really poor swings this year at balls in the dirt when he shouldn't have, and hasn't been able to come up big in those big moments like he did yesterday in that game with the bases loaded. And what's sad is I didn't have faith in Trevor Story being the guy to come through in yesterday's game. I just didn't expect or think that that was going to happen. Obviously, I'm so happy to have been wrong, but his inconsistencies offensively have been a huge concern. And it hasn't even been super inconsistent. It's been more bad than it has good by far. And I hope that he can turn things around now, because a healthy Trevor Story bat is an absolute game changer for the Red Sox lineup if he is able to start hitting. Because for one, the Red Sox still have a left-handed heavy lineup. So for him to be a righty and help balance that out, if he can get more consistent now and get going offensively, the Red Sox offense could put up a lot more runs. And especially with the fact that Alex Bregman is now injured, they need a guy like Trevor Story to really step up, because he is the guy who the Red Sox are now looking at as the other veteran that represents in the Red Sox lineup every day. And because Alex Bregman is not able to contribute right now because he's hurt, it just puts an added sense of that responsibility and pressure on Trevor Story. And maybe he's starting to really embrace that, or maybe the end of May really served as a wake-up call to him. Because obviously everybody's talking about this Roman Anthony situation. Everybody's talking about the possibility of him getting called up, and, Christian Campbell shifting over to first base. And the question being, what do they do? Do they move Cedar Rafaela into the infield? And then what happens when Alex Bregman comes back and they do more shifting? And Trevor Story has to know that people have been disappointed in him so far this season and where he's at offensively, rightfully so. He also made a really nice play defensively, by the way, in the bottom of the 9th inning yesterday against Atlanta to help Aroldis Chapman secure the win on the mound. He just made a really nice stabbing play. And that was promising too, because his defense this season has not been up to expectations. And based on the defensive stats that Trevor Story has put up over the course of his career, this season, he's gone down with that. And his errors and miscues that he's making in the infield have been significantly more this season. So he has to realize that there could be the potential of him getting replaced at some point, because of the fact that the Red Sox have all this young talent in the system and these players getting called up who are super talented and can make a difference to the team. And like Marcelo Meyer being called up, he's right now playing third base because of Bregman being hurt. But what if down the road, the Red Sox are like, all right, we want to put Marcelo Meyer back at shortstop because that's his natural position. So sorry, Story, tough for you. So he has to have heard all of that outside noise. And I'm really hoping that this is the start of something good for him, because him hitting as well as he did in the series is really promising and gives me hope. He did go 0 for 3 in game 2 of the series, so obviously not his day offensively, but wasn't really anybody's day offensively, because the Red Sox only recorded 5 hits as a team in that game. But seeing Story be the guy who made the difference in the series of getting it in the win column for Boston is huge for him and huge for his confidence moving forward, and huge for the Red Sox, because then they can start to feel a little bit better about all the money that they're paying him to be here. So I'm glad he had a big series. He got some really nice swings in. Obviously is comfortable in Atlanta. Now the challenge is just going to be keeping that up. And coming up, and speaking of being consistent, somebody who absolutely has been consistent this year is Garrett Crochet. So I'm going to be talking about him a little bit next. If you're looking for a super healthy snack that's addicting, check out Wonderful Pistachios. Try these things the next time you're at the grocery store, because I promise you, they are so good. I buy them every time I'm at the store now, and I can't stop because they are just so incredibly addicting, and they're a good healthy snack. So if I'm sitting at home watching TV late at night and I want a late night snack, I don't feel guilty because I'm having something healthy. So Wonderful Pistachios are absolutely delicious. Get snackin and get crackin with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Seriously, you will not be disappointed. The Boston Red Sox certainly didn't disappoint us over the weekend as they recorded a big series win against the Braves in Atlanta, a team that took 2 of 3 from the Red Sox just a couple weeks ago at Fenway. So it was nice to go to their house and kind of get revenge for that series. And one of the biggest reasons why they knocked down the series win on Sunday is because of Garrett Crochet, who had a phenomenal performance on the mound, securing the Red Sox 3-1 victory. He threw 7 innings, giving up 5 hits and just 1 earned run, which came on a home run in that game. He did record 2 walks, but he had 12 strikeouts. He threw 112 pitches with 75 of those going for strikes, and it knocked his ERA back down to a 198. He had an unbelievable performance. And after the 6th inning, I wasn't sure if the Red Sox were going to bring him back in for the 7th, but it truly speaks volumes as to how good he's been, how much the Red Sox trust him, and how much they don't really trust the bullpen as much. And they wanted to rest guys because the bullpen has been incredibly fatigued as of late. So they really wanted to make sure that they were managing that the right way. And Crochet was looking good. So they put him back out there. And this is exactly why they have him on pitch limits some days, because that game that he started recently when they pulled him after 85 pitches and people were like, what are we doing here? This is exactly why. If they didn't cut him off at 85 pitches in that outing, he doesn't go 112 pitches in this inning going into the 7th. So I don't hate the fact that the Red Sox kept him in the game. You were trying to win this game. The bullpen has been absolutely fatigued as of late. You don't have another off day until Thursday. So pushing him and being able to stretch him out like that, I really liked. And having the ability to do that means sometimes having him on a pitch limit. So he could end up on another pitch limit in a start coming up here next time. But I really liked the fact that they pushed him and they were able to stretch him out, because it really showed me that Crochet can just do it all. He was phenomenal. And he joins an elite club of pitchers with 100 plus strikeouts and a sub-2 ERA in their first 13 outings with the team. Garrett Crochet with the Red Sox. And then the list also includes Paul Skeens with the Pirates, Justin Verlander with the Astros, Max Scherzer with the Nationals, CC Sabathia with the Brewers, and Hideo Nomo with the Dodgers. So obviously an elite group that he is a part of there. And it was really nice to see him go out there and just shove. He has been incredibly consistent, and what I've enjoyed seeing the most about Crochet is just his deadly pitch arsenal. He has a fastball that's a good lockdown pitch for him, but he also has a really good balance of pitches that he throws, and he 100% has been an ace. Now, obviously, the couple walks were frustrating. You can't be walking the 9-hitter in the opposing team's lineup, and that's something that he has done in some of his starts this season, and he didn't always have his command. But overall in the game yesterday, he looked good. His defense behind him made a couple blunders that didn't help him and ended up stretching out innings to be longer than they should be. The umpire also did not help him with some calls that should have gone his way that didn't. So obviously that's all external factors that kind of made the start look like it wasn't as clean. But in reality, it really was. And in reality, he was going out there and he was moving through that Braves lineup. And at no point did I feel like he lost control or just didn't have it, which is another reason why I was happy that the Red Sox brought him out for the 7th inning, because it shows that they trust their guy. And it shows that even when things were in a situation where the Red Sox had a lead and his pitch count was getting high, they still were like, you know what? We feel like you can go out there and you have another inning in you. So let's go. Let's do it. And I'm sure the Red Sox had somebody warming up so that if he did give up a base runner, they would have pulled him and put somebody else in to finish that inning. But I'm really happy that Alex Cora trusted him to go back out there for the 7th, and he had a quick 7th inning. So overall, a really clean outing from Garrett Crochet. I mean, 12 strikeouts is a lot. And for him, it's a season high. So if he can keep focusing on getting that swing and miss stuff, that is really key for the Red Sox. So I was really happy to see that out of him, an outing in which we really needed that from our ace, because as Alex Cora says a lot, when Garrett Crochet is on the mound, you know you're probably going to get a good outing. And what's really interesting about it is that he's not wrong, because that's what you need from your number one pitcher. And it's a good sign that the Red Sox as an organization feel like they have a true number one in Crochet, because obviously that's something that the Red Sox haven't had in a while, is that true number one starting pitcher. So I really love that they do have Crochet and that they're able to push him and stretch him out a little bit. He is third on the list in number of innings thrown this year in the majors. So he definitely has taken on a big workload. And Alex Cora acknowledged that it's definitely a lifesaver for this team. Crochet cruised through the first 2 innings, striking out 4 of the first 7 batters that he faced, and then things got a little bit rocky in the middle innings of the outing, but he navigated that situation really nicely and was able to bounce back, and then had a much-needed, really quick 7th inning so that Alex Cora didn't have to burn through the bullpen. Crochet faced more pressure starting in the 3rd inning after that first 2, as the Braves got runners on the corners in 3 straight innings. The lefty, though, was able to work his way out of trouble every time, first striking out Ozuna to end the 3rd inning before getting a pair of punch-outs to end the 4th inning after initially putting 2 on with nobody out. The 5th inning wasn't quite as tall in order, because he got a routine ground out after Ozuna reached on a bloop single. That was another recurring theme for Crochet, as the Braves had 3 separate batters reach on shallow bloopers that just barely fell in front of the Red Sox outfielders. There was nearly a 4th one as well, though, but rookie Christian Campbell was able to make an impressive backhanded grab in shallow right field with his back to the infield in the bottom of the 4th inning, which basically robbed a hit and took one away from the Braves. So that was a huge play by him too. The Red Sox ace finished strong by retiring the last 7 batters he faced, coming back out for the 7th with 99 pitches before striking out the side. So it was a really solid outing from him. And Alex Cora did say after it that with a stretch of 5 straight weeks with a Thursday off day coming up, they'll be able to push Crochet harder, knowing that he'll have longer to recover in between starts. So that's part of the reason, again, why they stretched him out in this outing, was because they knew that they can manage it a little bit better and that he'll have time to rest in between outings more, which is good. Alex Cora said, when you look back at the Mets one, we have to pick and choose. And at that point, it looked like, what are they doing? But there's a reason. For us to be aggressive, understanding now that we've got Thursdays off and he's going to get an extra day, we can be more aggressive. We pushed him to the limit and he did an outstanding job. So obviously, it really solidified the Red Sox win. The offense still wasn't great. Outside of that big Trevor Story double, the offense pretty much was non-existent the rest of the game. So that's tough to think about when you're trying to build momentum moving forward. They still need to hit more, and obviously not having Alex Bregman has caused a lot of problems for this Red Sox team. And for them to be able to continue to win games and put together a winning streak, they definitely need to continue to have more production. And Christian Campbell was able to play at second base in the game. The Red Sox originally wanted him to make his first base debut in the game yesterday, but Abraham Toro has been hot at the plate as of late and has provided a lot of offense for the Red Sox. So because of that, they wanted to keep his bat in the lineup on Sunday. So therefore, Christian Campbell played second base again, but expect that first base debut to come for him soon. And speaking of first base, the Red Sox did make a few roster moves on Sunday, one of them having to do with first base. So I'm going to be going over those next. Just a quick reminder that you can subscribe to Locked On Red Sox on YouTube or any other podcast platform. And I am here Monday through Friday to talk about all things related to the Boston Red Sox. So you can stay caught up in that regard as long as you check out the show on any podcast platform. And also, I appreciate you tuning in to Locked On Red Sox and making this show your first listen of the day. For your second listen, make sure you check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts on the Locked On MLB channel. It's a great show that just basically makes the rounds and goes through all the games that happen that day. So it's really nice to not have to rely on your ESPN app to look up all these scores all the time. You can just hear it from them. So check out that show next. The Red Sox are coming off of a big series win against the Braves in Atlanta. And prior to the series finale on Sunday, the Red Sox made a few roster moves, 5 total. So as was expected and had already been reported, the Red Sox promoted infielder / outfielder Nate Eaton this weekend on Sunday from AAA Worcester. They also called up reliever Luis Guerrero from AAA. Eaton took the spot of Nick Sogard, who was platooning at first base with Abraham Toro, but Sogard got sent back down to AAA. Guerrero replaced reliever Justin Slaten because unfortunately Slaten was placed on the 15-day injured list retroactive to May 29th with right shoulder inflammation. So they're hoping that's not anything too serious and that Slaten can come back sooner rather than later, because obviously we need him in the pen. He's been one of the high leverage arms, and especially because when Chapman was pitching yesterday, Alex Cora had to come out with a trainer while he was throwing to check in on him and make sure he was okay. I don't know if he was experiencing some kind of pain, but he ended up staying in the game and he ended up getting through the outing and it was fine. But I was getting a little bit concerned because I was like, well, they already now have one of their high leverage guys on the IL. So what's going to happen if they also have to place Chapman on the injured list? So not a huge fan of that. Hopefully because that Chapman was able to stay in the game yesterday, it means that it wasn't anything serious and he just was dealing with something that was just putting him in a little bit of discomfort on Sunday. But ideally, he would not go to the injured list now that Justin Slaten is, because that's a huge bullpen arm that they're losing. So the Red Sox did need to open up a 40-man roster spot for Nate Eaton when he got called up. So as a result of that, the Red Sox designated catcher Blake Sabol for assignment. And it kind of makes sense because he just wasn't producing. He did play in the majors a little bit this year because of Connor Wong being injured. And when he was in the majors, he wasn't producing. And then he went back to Worcester and he wasn't producing at as high of a level as the Red Sox really needed him to. So it made sense as a roster move. And they also have Yasmani Grandal now in AAA, who's a veteran catcher who can kind of help out with a lot of the pitchers at that level. And he's a guy that can be relied upon to catch the majority of the games down there and help these guys out. So that was a corresponding roster move the Red Sox made for that. Guerrero has seen some success in the majors. Obviously, small sample size. We haven't gotten to see a crazy amount of him yet up here in the major leagues, but in the times that he has pitched up with the Red Sox, he has impressed, and I really liked a lot of what I saw from him. So I'm hoping that now that he's getting another opportunity, that this is at the point now where he can confidently pitch for the Red Sox and be able to contribute at a high level, because the more that you go out there, obviously the more confidence you're going to gain doing it. And now that he's been back and forth between Worcester and Boston, he now can feel a little bit more confident and approach the situation in that regard. So I'm definitely excited to see him, and the Red Sox probably will have to throw him in high leverage spots because now that Slaten's on the IL, they're going to need high leverage guys to step up and contribute. And Guerrero, I think from a talent standpoint, has shown that he can be one of those guys who can pitch in those situations. So hopefully he is able to. So now, who exactly is Nate Eaton? For those of you who are unfamiliar, a 28-year-old who has 72 games of MLB experience with Kansas City, has hit .277 with 5 homers, 27 RBIs, and an .811 OPS while playing 6 different positions for the Woo Sox this year. He's a right-handed hitter who may get some at-bats in the coming days with Boston due to face Angels southpaws Tyler Anderson and Yusei Kikuchi, so he might get some time in the lineup. The Red Sox envision Eaton as a speed threat too, as he stole 27 bases for the Royals AAA affiliate a year ago. He's made 20 starts at third base 18 in center field, 10 in right field, 2 as the designated hitter, and 1 each at second base, shortstop, and left field so far for Worcester. So he really has played all over the place, basically just wherever the Woo Sox have needed him to play. So that's another benefit to having him up in the majors, is he has a little bit more to offer than Sogard does in terms of his ability to play both in the infield and in the outfield. So if the Red Sox want to get him in the lineup and aren't really sure where to play him, they definitely have several options, especially if there's a guy who could use a day off. So that's definitely helpful. Veterans on minor league deals often have opt-out / upward mobility clauses on June 1st, and it is possible that Eaton would have gotten poached by another team if the Red Sox didn't add him to the 40-man roster. And he does have minor league options remaining. So that's probably why the Red Sox made that decision, because they felt like they didn't want to lose somebody like that in the system because he's too valuable. And they feel like he deserves the shot with the Red Sox. Alex Cora said, I think it's more about what's coming in the athlete. Obviously, we're getting Romy Gonzalez back too, probably at some point this week, bringing the athlete, and they can play the outfield. We can do certain things with him late in games. He has been playing well. So Romy coming back is going to cause the Red Sox to have to make some sort of roster decision. Maybe he will go back down to AAA at that point, but I think the Red Sox really wanted to add him to the 40-man roster, and it'll be interesting to see what roster decision they do make when Romy gets activated. Then there's Justin Slaten, whose injury is a new development, but the Red Sox don't expect him to miss too much time. The reliever described his shoulder as fatigued and said he hopes to be back when the 15-day window expires. I mean, the bullpen's absolutely tacked right now. These guys have been used a lot, so it does make a lot of sense that he might be feeling some tiredness, and his arm is getting a little bit bothered because of that. In his place, the hard-throwing Guerrero, who owns a 1.17 ERA and 13 strikeouts in 15 and a third MLB innings over the last 2 seasons, will return to the bullpen. And then Blake Sable, acquired in a minor January trade with San Francisco, had a cup of coffee in the majors with the Red Sox when Connor Wong was on the injured list, like I mentioned, and he went just 2 for 16 with a double and RBI, backing up Carlos Narvaez. The Red Sox will have 7 days to waive, release, or trade him, who hit 193, which is going 17 for 88, with 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and 13 RBIs for Worcester. Veteran Yasmani Grandal remains with the Woo Sox as the top depth option should something happen to Narvaez or Wong. So if one of those two gets hurt, it's the understanding that Grandal would then get the call up immediately at that point. Obviously, you hope people don't get hurt. And for Grandal, it's good for him to be mentoring some of the guys who are at the AAA level so that when they get called up, they're ready for kind of the pressure that comes with being in the majors. And that's why there's definitely a benefit to having veterans in AAA to help guide some of those guys. So it's definitely helpful for the Red Sox to have that. And who knows how Nate Eaton's going to do. I think the Red Sox feel good about him. They feel like he's a guy who can come up and contribute on a regular basis to the major league team. And he's a guy, again, who could play a variety of different positions. So it could be a very temporary thing since Romy Gonzalez is really close to coming back and probably will be activated this upcoming week. So the Red Sox are probably not feeling like he's a long-term guy that's going to stay up here. But roster decisions do need to be made. And when Alex Bregman comes back, that's another thing that the Red Sox are going to have to decide on. And you wonder if at that point they would send Marcelo Meyer back down to AAA, or if he's now up here to stay and they would move somebody else. So people do need to step up because there's not really a guarantee that guys' spots are secured unless you are making the big money from the Red Sox like Rafael Devers, and you are going to be playing on the team every day and you're going to be on that lineup card every day. So lots of roster decisions that are going to need to be made. Hopefully Justin Slaten doesn't miss too much time, because with the fact that the Red Sox have already been struggling this year, they can't really afford to miss him extensively because of the fact that he is one of their best relievers and he's somebody who's been consistent along with Brennan Bernardino and Aroldis Chapman, and for the most part, Garrett Whitlock, even though he did struggle for a few game stretch recently. he overall has been somebody that the Red Sox have been able to rely on and high leverage out of their pen. So having another guy who's a high leverage arm that they're losing temporarily, hopefully it's not for too long, and hopefully Guerrero can come up and really showcase what he can do and continue to be on that fast track to success, because he definitely has impressed in the time that he has pitched in the majors. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully the Red Sox can continue the momentum after this big series win in Atlanta. They just have not been able to stay motivated enough and stay consistent enough to be able to rattle off a win streak. So that's what we could really use from them now, is a win streak. Let's go win a series at home. Like I always say, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I'll catch you on the flip side.